Picture this. This is Sunday morning, April 13th, 2025. You're in Samsarganj, Murshidabad, a place that seems, ordinary, dusty.
Right. Should be quiet.
Exactly. But there's this faint smell of smoke in the air. It's not the usual Sunday calm.
Ugh.
Instead, you see a tractor rolling through and people sweeping. But they're sweeping up burnt stuff, bits of furniture, glass, even like a motorcycle tire.
Yeah, it's not spring cleaning, is it? It's the aftermath. Something's being erased.
That's the feeling. This follows a really brutal clash just days before. 3 people died, countless lives just completely turned upside down.
And the big question everyone's asking, especially the residents, is why? Why, when shops were being looted, did the police seem, well, absent?
Right. Why did it take so long to get things under control? And maybe the most unsettling part, why the big rush to clean everything up on Sunday?
It does make you wonder, that speed, the thoroughness, was it just about restoring order, or maybe something else, minimizing scrutiny?
Could be. To really understand this, we need to rewind a bit to Friday. That's when a protest against the WAC Amendment Act 2025 really ignited things.
Ah, yes, the WAC fact. That deals with properties donated for Muslim charities. Historically, it's quite contentious.
It is. Some argue the changes are, for transparency, better management.
But others, particularly within the community, they fear it infringes on their rights, their autonomy over these endowments. It's sensitive stuff.
Deeply sensitive. So what started as this rally at the Notendak Bungalow Junction on NH12, it just exploded.
Didn't stay contained.
Not at all. Spread through Dhulian, Sudi, Jangipur. And the result, 3 dead, over 150 arrests. They estimate 60 homes, 150 shops just ruined.
And the detail that really sticks out is the police station's location.
Exactly. Reportedly just 350 meters away from where it all kicked off.
Yeah.
Yet you talk to residents and they say the police were, well, utterly ineffective, basically invisible.
350 meters. That proximity just raises so many questions about their response or lack of it. Were they overwhelmed? Was it something else?
It's hard to say. But let's bring it down to the human level. Think about Ratan Ghosh. He's 65, runs a small grocery in Ghoshpara.
Just a local shopkeeper.
Yeah, his shop was everything. His livelihood. On Friday, it was destroyed, ransacked.
Terrible.
He really believes, if the police had just been there, he might have saved it. His only income.
It's not just the goods, is it? It's the security, the future.
And they didn't just take stock. They stole 1.5 lakh rupees he had saved. Imagine.
Wow. That's a huge blow.
Huge. And his wife, Shanshala, she's adamant. They are not cleaning up that mess until the people responsible are caught. That's some resolve.
You can understand it, though. It's not just about cleaning. It's about justice, a refusal to just erase what happened without accountability.
Absolutely. Then there's Ismail Hossein Ansari's story. It's harrowing.
What happened?
When the mob came, his 13-year-old son and nephew hid inside a sweet shop, locked the door, hoping to be safe.
Oh, no.
Tragically, the shop was set on fire. His son got burned, escaping.
Burned? Oh, that's awful. How badly?
The reports mention burns. The severity isn't detailed, but escaping a burning building. And here's the chilling part. Ismail claims he saw a local police officer standing nearby, watching as the shop burned.
Watching. Just standing there.
That's his claim. If true, that's a fundamental failure, isn't it?
It's beyond failure. It's a dereliction of the most basic duty to protect. Horrifying if accurate.
And look, these aren't just one-off stories. You hear similar things from people across the board, Hindu, Muslim, doesn't matter. This feeling of being abandoned by the police.
A shared experience of vulnerability.
Exactly. One shopkeeper, anonymous obviously, just asked, where were the basic crowd control measures? Anything.
A fair question.
Another resident, just dripping with sarcasm, apparently quipped the police must have been practicing for the hide-and-seek Olympics.
Wow. That tells you the level of frustration and, frankly, contempt.
It really does. This perceived vacuum, this lack of law enforcement, it seems like it allowed a protest to just completely degenerate into looting and communal clashes.
It creates an environment of impunity, doesn't it? If people think they can get away with it, things escalate fast.
Okay, so now, fast forward back to that Sunday morning, the cleanup.
Right. The strangely efficient cleanup.
Yeah. You've got a junior police officer actually directing sweepers, like, leave no brick unturned, make it all disappear.
And the official line...
A senior officer suggested it was to help calm tensions, restore normalcy.
Which is understandable on one level. Seeing the destruction constantly isn't helpful.
But the speed, the thoroughness, it does make you question if it was also about maybe managing the evidence downplaying the scale of the initial chaos.
It certainly raises that notion. Intentional or not, a rapid cleanup can obscure details about what exactly happened and how the response unfolded.
Meanwhile, the local administration starts surveying the damage. The numbers are stark. At least 60 homes burned, 150 shops and houses vandalized. These are people's lives.
Just staggering numbers.
Then the Calcutta High Court steps in, orders central paramilitary forces to be deployed. That was Saturday.
So external intervention became necessary.
Seems so. By Sunday, you had a significant presence, central forces, BSF personnel patrolling, internet shut down, prohibitory orders, basically a lockdown.
But the horse had already bolted, in many ways. The main damage was done Friday.
Exactly. For so many people, it was too late. Which brings us back to the core question, why the police in action?
Right. Especially given the station's proximity.
People living near the Samsarganj station near Ratan Ghosh's shop, they say the station wasn't empty. Officers were there.
So they were physically present but didn't engage.
That's the claim. The explanation whispered locally is, well, that they lacked the courage to face the mob.
That's a very serious allegation against the force, lack of courage.
It is. It points to potential issues with leadership, training, morale, maybe all of the above.
Fear is human, but their job is to act even when it's dangerous. If that breakdown happened, it's fundamental.
And then there's the intelligence aspect, or lack thereof. How could this protest, the scale of potential violence, seemingly catch them off guard?
Especially
Since just the day before, Thursday, there was a similar incident in Omarpur nearby. Police vehicles were torched there.
Right, that should have been a massive red flag. Alarm bells should have been ringing everywhere in the district.
You'd think so. It suggests a serious failure in intelligence gathering, or maybe analysis, or just communication, acting on the intelligence they might have had.
A failure to connect the dots, perhaps, or to prepare adequately based on a very recent, very violent precedent.
The local MP, Kaulu Rahman, he suggested outsiders were involved in the rioting, stirring things up.
That's a common narrative in these situations, outsider agitators.
It is. And maybe it's true, maybe not, it's being debated. But even if outsiders were involved, does that excuse the local police's initial non-response?
No, not really. The responsibility for immediate law and order rests with the local force, regardless of who is causing the trouble. Their job is to intervene.
Even leaders within the ruling party, the Trinamool Congress, have kind of acknowledged an intelligence failure. They noted a police officer got injured, a traffic post burned.
So they admit things went wrong on the intelligence front.
Yes, but the explanation offered by one MLA, Amirul Islam, was that a blockade miles away held up reinforcements.
A blockade miles away, explaining inaction 350 meters from the station.
Yeah, locals are pretty skeptical about that justification. It feels a bit like finding an excuse after the fact.
Understandably. It doesn't quite address the crucial initial window when intervention was most needed.
And what's really disturbing is that Murshidabad, and Samsarganj specifically, has seen this before. Not on this scale, maybe, but during the NRC protests in 2019-2020. There were significant problems then, too.
History repeating itself.
It feels like it. One police officer apparently admitted, off the record, that past experience should have meant higher alert, more security this time.
But it didn't translate into preparedness on the ground.
Seems not. They seemed unprepared, again.
That points to a potential systemic issue, doesn't it? Not learning from past crises.
It does. The Director General of Police, the top cop, arrived on Saturday. By Sunday, he stated the situation was under control.
Order restored. Officially.
Officially.
Yeah.
But for people like Ratan Ghosh, like Ismail Ansari, who've lost so much, does under control mean anything right now? Probably not much comfort.
No, the damage is done. And the fact the High Court had to bring in central forces speaks volumes about the confidence, or lack thereof, in the state's initial handling.
It really does.
Yeah.
And the human cost. It's just immense. Hundreds fled their homes. Samsargan, Dulian, people crossing the Bhagirathi River to Malda.
Becoming refugees in their own state.
Basically, yeah. Packed into boats, carrying whatever they could grab, finding shelter in schools. Imagine the trauma. People said they felt like strangers. Heartbreaking.
That displacement adds another layer of crisis. Loss of home, community, everything familiar. The psychological scars run deep.
And the violence, it hit everyone. We heard about Ratan Ghosh, a Hindu shopkeeper. But there are stories from Muslim residents, too. A tailor spoke about protecting his family from retaliatory attacks.
So fear on all sides.
Absolutely. He emphasized, look, everyone's a victim here. Everyone feels unheard, abandoned. It just tears the community apart.
That shared sense of victimhood is important. It cuts through the you versus them narrative that often takes hold. Everyone suffers.
And, predictably, the politics kicked in. The blame game.
Of course.
BJP accusing Trinamool of appeasement, Trinamool accusing BJP of spreading misinformation, fanning the flames. You know the drill.
The usual political point scoring while the community tries to pick up the pieces.
Exactly. Though amidst all that, it was good to hear a religious leader, an imam from Kolkata, clearly condemn the violence, reminding people that attacking innocents is against religious principles. A needed voice of reason.
Absolutely crucial. Those voices can sometimes cut through the political noise and appeal to shared values.
So here we are, the physical debris in Samsarganj is being swept away. But what's left is this incredibly complex, troubling mess.
Yeah, the administration can count the damaged shops, the burned homes, but how do you measure lost livelihoods, shattered trust, the fear?
You can't, really. And while there's more police now, central forces patrolling, the big question is, will there be justice? Real accountability.
That's the key. Restoring order is one thing. Restoring faith and delivering justice is another entirely. Without accountability for the violence and for the alleged failures in preventing it, healing is very difficult.
All eyes are kind of on the Calcutta High Court now. They've demanded reports from the state and central governments for a hearing on April 17th.
That hearing could be significant. It forces a level of scrutiny, demands answers. Murshidabad will be watching closely.
They will, waiting, bearing these scars, but
Mm.
also you see this quiet strength,
Yeah.
people determined to rebuild.
Like Chanchala Ghosh, vowing not to clean up until there's justice, or Ismail Ansari, facing danger for his son.
Yeah, the resilience is incredible. It shows the spirit of the community even when institutions seem to fail them.
That human spirit is often the most powerful force in the aftermath of such events.
Definitely. So ultimately what happened in Murshidabad forces us to ask some really fundamental questions, doesn't it? About accountability, preparedness, the basic role of law enforcement.
It absolutely does. These aren't just local issues, they touch on core principles of governance and security.
And it leaves you wondering, this sweeping away of the physical evidence, will it mirror a sweeping away of responsibility? Or could this, maybe, just maybe, be a catalyst, a wake-up call for real change for rebuilding trust in this community?
That's the crucial unknown, isn't it? Will lessons be learned and acted upon, or will it fade until the next crisis? A sobering thought to reflect on.